A Man on the Inside, a delightful show on Netflix. Season 1 already in the books. You can watch that now, but just not right now because we're about to talk about Season 2 with 2 of the stars of A Man on the Inside. Again, Season 2 premieres exclusively on Netflix on November 20th. Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen are here. Yeah, woo. Good to see you guys. That's a nice round of applause from all of us here.
It is.
Good to see you guys.
You.
Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
You got it.
Clearly, my character and myself
Yes.
are smitten.
Yes.
Smitten by my wife.
Sometimes acting is as simple as just showing up to work.
Yes. It really was, actually, in this case.
Yeah, just got to keep it simple in that respect. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you feel the same way, I'd imagine.
I do. It was just a thrill to even be asked to work with all those guys. I have so much respect for Mike Schur and Morgan Sackett and that whole team of brilliant writers and actors, and I felt really lucky to be there.
Yeah, the great thing about Mike's shows are obviously funny, but they always have a heart at the center. There's always something.
Human.
Yes, human. And obviously the show you did with Mike previously is all about that. But
The Good Place.
The Good Place.
How do you know Mike? You said
I know Mike because our kids went to school together in like nursery school.
Wow.
So yeah,
He's a great kid.
He is funny, and it's always great, just like whenever the kids would go over there, and there's pictures of Regis on the wall, because that's who his father-in-law was, and just all of his shows.
And he's
great.
a baseball fanatic.
Yes,
Mike.
He is, and we also share a love of the Michigan Wolverine football program. So we there's a lot of connective tissue here.
Yeah,
I take money off of the father of your grandchild as well in a weekly poker game, and RJ,
every week. He never.
That's true. Maybe not every week. That's a good point right there. But yeah, we know a lot of the same people, which is one of the many reasons why I'm so excited that you guys are here.
This is a real pleasure.
Thank you for saying that in advance. Our radio audience is about to return. We're here on Disney Plus and our ESPN app everywhere. Back on the ESPN Radio Network, presented by Progressive Insurance. We just saw a clip of A Man on the Inside. The second season is premiering on Netflix on November 20th. The first season, catch up on it right now. Ted Danson, Mary Steenburgen here on The Rich Eisen Show. Whose idea was it for you to join the cast this year, Mary?
I wish I could.
I don't know.
Claim credit, but it was Mike and Morgan.
Yeah, probably Mike and Morgan.
Okay.
And they wrote a character that everybody describes as pretty wacky and eccentric, and then as soon as I turn my back, they go, it's exactly like her. And I'm like, really? I think I'm acting. You know?
Yes.
You
have an Oscar at home.
Yeah.
Come on now.
That's not me.
Okay.
I'm.
One of the descriptions is I tell my friend that she is. I take a vote to cross a street.
Yes.
I wait for the signal, and she does cartwheels right into the middle of traffic.
Yeah.
And that's kind of her character.
Yeah.
And a little bit like my wife.
Nice. So that worked out. Did your agent drive a hard bargain, or you just said yes right away? Mary? What
I
happened
think
here?
it was pretty obvious I wanted to do it. And it was just every day was funny. The scripts are so funny, but also, like you say, it's so touching, and it's about such deep things. And in his case,
You have a second chance at our age at love.
Right, because you play a widower trying to find a place in the world without your wife.
Yeah, and is that all over for you? And do you dare? And then the fact that somebody new is so different than the life you've created, and would they fit in with your kids? And people deal with this stuff, but a lot of times we're so focused on writing just the young stories of life, and there is that in there too. But like they neglect some of the things that happen to you as you get older.
And it's beautiful. It really is a beautiful show, and it's interesting. The first scene of the first episode, Ted, you're a young man toasting your wife at a wedding, and it's like shot like it's on a VHS tape.
Right.
And it looked like you from Body Heat, like that. Like, was that like
part makeup, part wig, part CG? They went all in so that it was supposedly, that my baggage as an actor comes in handy sometimes because people know that image of me from Cheers but that period, and then to dissolve into this Ted.
Right.
Is you get to experience a passage of time viscerally.
Right, especially since then they pull out and then you're in bed by yourself. Obviously, the other side of the bed is unmade, and it gave us an idea of what your character's journey was about to be. It's a great show, and everybody, again, should check it out. A Man on the Inside premieres November 20th in terms of a second season exclusively on Netflix. Catch up on season 1 whenever you wish on Netflix. There's so many things I want to talk to you guys about because you've been in so many amazing movies and television shows. And the way that we normally cover all the ground is through a segment called Celebrity True or False.
We've seen it.
Okay, good. Good to know. I've got 2 for each of you and then 1 collectively for you. And some of them we might go a little bit off script, if you will, right there.
But this has just become a competition, by the way.
Okay,
go on.
very good.
We are very competitive.
Okay. Had no idea. This is the first ever competitive version of Celebrity True or False. Hit it, please.
Celebrity True or False.
You can't handle the truth.
All right, that's our production value right there. And interestingly enough, though, I will go off script right here because I just heard Jack Nicholson's voice.
Yeah.
Is it true you got your first ever role in the movies, Mary, by running into Jack Nicholson on a movie lot, and he ran into you and wanted you to be in Going South? Is that a true story for your career?
Partly true.
Okay.
I don't think I'd be sitting here without him.
Without Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, I don't. But I was in a comedy improv show at the Manhattan Theater Club. Chris Guest, who directed some of my
Waiting for Guffman.
Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show. His mother was a casting director. She and a woman named Mary Buck saw me in that comedy improv show and sent me to this big casting director who's casting a lot of movies. She said, I would love to have you in for this movie called Going South, but it's mostly going to be models or well-known actresses, and you don't really fit into that category. And so I was almost out the door, and I turned around and said, I'm just going to go sit out there and give you a chance to think about that for a minute in case you want me to read.
Right.
And this was so not me. This was like somebody telling me what to do from up there because I had never been that pushy. And so I went out and sat down and I went, why were you so pushy? That's the most important person you've ever met in the almost 7 years you've been a waitress in New York studying acting and acting for no money. Go apologize. And then while I'm composing my apology, I see 2 feet and a voice says, are you waiting to see me? And I think, that sounded like Jack Nicholson, who I, as far as I knew, was in Los Angeles. And I said, no. And he goes, why not? And I said, I look up and indeed it is he. And I said, because I don't have a script. He got a script, handed it to me, said, you have 10 minutes tomorrow. I came back.
No kidding.
Yeah, I came back. I started reading. He started canceling appointments or rearranging things. I kept standing up saying, thank you, and he goes, no, let's read one more. His pizza came. I stood up to leave. He goes, sit down, eat the pizza, keep reading. We read the entire thing twice, and somehow I got to go to Hollywood for a screen test, and somehow by a miracle, even though all the other testing people were huge stars, I got it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he have nice shoes?
Yes, he had nice shoes.
He had Jack Nicholson shoes?
Yeah, he was, he was my mentor, and he couldn't have been a better guy to me. He was great.
About that. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad I asked. All right,
Yeah.
First one for you, Ted. True or false, you auditioned for your role of Sam Malone in Cheers with Shelley Long, but had no idea you'd gotten the role when you left at all.
Yeah, that was a big process. There were 3 couples that got paired up, 3 Sam Malones, 3 Diane Chambers, and I got paired up, thank God, with Shelley, because Shelley was, I think of all the cast members, she was the one that came out of the chute just spot on. So, yeah, I got to audition with her, and I do believe that's one of the big reasons I got the part.
But you had no idea when you left that you had gotten the role? You had
No, you didn't. Back that you waited for 2 or 3 weeks while they made up their mind.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Do you remember who the other Sam and Dianes were? Were there anybody?
Yeah, a tight end from the Rams.
Was it Fred Dreyer?
Fred, very good. Yeah, and I think Julie Duffy, and then
Wow, Fred Dreyer. You were going up against a tight end from the Los Angeles Rams.
because that's what he was going to be, a tight end.
Oh.
And then when I got up, they went, nah.
Let's make him a pitcher.
Maybe a pitcher, maybe an alcoholic relief pitcher. That worked.
They looked at you. You're a more alcoholic
Yeah.
relief pitcher than Los Angeles Rams tight end. Wow, no kidding.
Yeah.
And is it true that down the road that you and Shelley Long, they had you shoot an actual scene where your characters got married in front of a live studio audience to hide the fact she was leaving the show? Is that a true
Gosh,
aspect?
I wonder.
Of
I
Cheers?
think we did do several versions. I don't remember if we actually got married in one of the, but there were. It wasn't just to fool the audience or whatever. It was also they didn't quite know where they wanted to go with it.
What was
I think.
What was it like being on that set when it was just
It
beginning
was-
to just take off and must see television on must see
I don't
TV on
think any
NBC
of us
before?
had done TV, or not many of us had done TV before or anything before. So I think we were spoiled. We just thought, oh, this is what happens when you do television. It was very rock and roll. You were hired to play an idiot in a bar surrounded by other idiots, and you were kind of in that idiot period of your life. So it was just a dream come true.
Yeah, and just look at that photograph that's right there. Obviously, that was
Idiots. You spoke to Woody Harrelson, our biggest idiot.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes,
Isn't
indeed.
he a hoot?
As a matter of fact, I do believe I have a question for you on that front coming up later in the Celebrity True or False. Next up, True or False, Mary.
Yeah.
You had never seen Will Ferrell in his elf costume or even seen a mock-up of it until the day he walked onto the set to film the syrup on spaghetti scene.
That is absolutely true. And it is also true that, well, I have a giggling problem. I get very tickled, and I have a lot of trouble reining it in. And that day, it was brutal. Because we're all used to that image now. We've all seen
Yes.
it. You would even know it in silhouette, but I just couldn't get over it. It was so brilliant. He was so funny. And he was just, I loved every second of it. And then a few months after we wrapped, because we'd really had a great time together, he called and he said, "You played my stepmom in Elf. Would it offend you if I asked you to play my actual mom in a movie called Step Brothers?" And I said, "Let me look up how much our age difference is." So I did, and I'm like, "Well, I would have had to have had you at 11, but I would be offended if you ask anyone else. I will definitely play your mom again."
One of the
So there's some
funniest
follow-up
movies ever.
questions. Yes, and we've got a Step Brothers one later on in this segment
Okay.
here as well. But 2 follow-up questions on that. First of all, did you know he was going to pour syrup on the spaghetti, or that was completely ad-libbed? Did you know that was coming when he walks in his elf costume? Or was that just totally off the cuff?
I don't think I did know, and then it got passed around, so we all ended up eating it. So I have tasted that,
Which
and
isn't bad, you said.
it's not. I've tasted worse in my life, and it's also great because kids always ask me. That's the one biggest question: is did you really eat that spaghetti with maple syrup?
So the answer is yes, you
Yes,
did.
yes.
With James Caan? Like that?
Yes,
You're
I don't
passing
know.
around?
I don't know if James actually, chowed down on it, but I had some.
All right. So then the second follow-up question is: you were more offended by the potential age difference than the subject matter of Step Brothers? Is that what you're saying to me?
I love.
Oh, that's your sweet
Step
spot.
Brothers is my kind of. People think I'm a certain way or whatever, but I've been surrounded by men in my life by all their grossness and like all their.
She's trying not to say fart humor. Is
Yeah, all
pretty much your
that
sweet spot.
is totally what makes me laugh.
It's interesting, Ted, you mentioned that, because I do have a celebrity true or false for you. We're going to go from the back pocket right here. Ted Danson, celebrity true or false. True or false? Ted, you and Leslie Nielsen got kicked off of planes and once asked to leave a restaurant because of Leslie Nielsen's famous fart machine.
True. The plane part, true.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were,
That's amazing.
It was back when they would say to celebrities, "You want to board first?" And
Yes.
Leslie said yes. So we were in the first seats as people came through. Every third person, he would do this little handheld.
It was this. What
Yeah.
was it? It was like some sort
It was
of.
a handheld little bellows thing
Yeah.
that he could have in his hand and control it and do all sorts of different things. Every third person, and it offended. And they came and asked him, "Mr. Please don't, please stop." He wouldn't. Literally, he would not stop.
What were you doing on a plane with Leslie Nielsen? Do you remember the circumstances?
He was coaching me how to use the.
So they were offended by him with the prank, not
Yeah,
because
and-
they thought he was actually letting off
Yeah,
emitting something.
because the people were. It made them think that the person behind them in line thought it might have been them. So it put people on the spot.
Oh,
He was
how
relentless.
wonderful. Why
like
did I
that, huh?
miss that?
You had no idea. This is news to you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But Dudley, I worked with Dudley Moore, and he was very fond of that thing.
Oh, he did
Yeah,
it too?
yeah.
Dudley Moore did it too?
Oh, totally. Oh, totally.
Oh, my God. All right, so then here's another one. Ted, you once played hooky from taping Cheers to go on John Ratzenberger's new boat and got caught in weather sailing to Catalina with Woody Harrelson.
You
And
better. I
George
think you
and
better tell
Kelsey.
the whole story.
Yes, and we had a little buzz going even before we got on the boat.
That's odd with Woody. I couldn't have picked that up.
No, it was like
Yeah.
it was hooky. It was a free pass. You could do anything. You're on a boat. And he said, "Have you ever had mushrooms?" And I said, "No." And I thought, "Whoa, this is the day to do it." But we hadn't had breakfast, so part of me was hungry.
Oh.
So way more than should have. And then we hit the tail end of bad weather coming up out of Mexico, and it was one of these kind of
And who
moments.
was on the boat?
John Ratzenberg, George went, Kelsey was asleep down below.
Yes.
And me and Woody.
So, like, most of Cheers was on this boat.
Everybody except Rhea and Shelley. Rhea was pissed.
She was pissed about not getting
being
invited?
left out, yeah.
Even after she found out there was some bad weather and everything like that? Or she...
I don't think it was. It
Okay.
wasn't horrible weather. It was
Okay.
just very roly, pitchy kind of thing. Yes.
Okay. All right. I've never heard that story
The mushroom
before.
part? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. And so that actually went down. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of Catalina and wine mixers, let's get into this right here, Mary. And this kind of dovetails into what I asked before and what you said before. True or false? In Step Brothers, they had to use a shot of you laughing during the sleepwalking scene because there were no takes of you not laughing.
That is correct. I asked him when I saw the movie. I asked Adam McKay, "Why did you use the take where you can see I'm starting to laugh?"
Yes.
And he goes, "Mary, there are no takes without you laughing. There's nothing. We dug in there, tried to find one." Yeah.
Just look at that right there. It just makes you laugh to begin
It was
with.
amazing. And
Funniest
Richard
movie ever.
Jenkins, who was really my partner in crime, because it was our job to sort of sell that these two idiots had parents that, had them live with them. And Richard was just magnificent in that part. He was so much fun.
Yeah, we had Richard on this show a few years ago, and he said that Adam McKay came up to him before the Catalina wine mixer moment and say, just tell him about Find Your Inner Dinosaur.
Yes.
And he did it,
Yeah.
thinking there's no way this is making the movie.
Yes.
And it made the movie.
It totally made the movie. It was wonderful.
Did you have a moment like that with
Well,
you? or-
I'm
Oh, well.
I mean, I was
Please.
watching his hands go up into this little Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Right.
But they
hands.
would shout to you to say the filthiest things.
Yeah, they
Because they
love-
thought it'd be funny.
Well, Adam McKay who laughed so loudly during every take that they kept moving him farther and farther away from the set.
Because he was blowing the takes?
Yeah, he was like messing with their sound, and so, but he was so far away. They finally had to give him like a bullhorn to scream instructions, and all my instructions were just to say more and more obscene things because and there was like a whole group of people. This is a scene out in the front yard when they're fighting, and I won't say on Disney what I said, but it was all it was all obscenity, which then you'd hear Adam McKay roaring laughing from like half a block away. It was a crazy experience, but it was one of the most fun times of my life.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what was the crazier scene, the sleepwalking, the dinner scene where the screaming and the yelling, and Adam Scott basically saying he may have ruined the story and the evening. It's classic. The whole thing is an absolute classic. And I just found myself watching it with age inappropriate young kids of mine, and I thought to myself, what am I doing right now?
Why am I doing this?
Yes.
Well, I can tell you you're not alone. It's crazy because
people don't watch it 2 or 3 times. When you ask them, it'll be, we watched it every year. I've
seen it 47 times, or yes, and I've watched it with my 6-year-old, and I'm like, really? That's embarrassing.
It's not good. Would you say Step Brothers is the favorite thing that Mary's done of yours? Would you say that of all the things that Mary's done?
No, it's the funniest.
Okay, so then what would you say is your favorite?
Well, she won the Oscar, and that's my favorite performance you've ever done. Melvin and Howard.
Right.
Yeah.
About Howard Hughes sitting down with real life stuff, right?
Yeah.
For sure. So what would be your favorite of what Ted's done?
Have you seen any?
It's hard when I love the show Bored to Death, which was one of my all-time favorite shows. I think the one that got me through the toughest times of my life was Cheers, because I watched it. I watched it with friends when it came out. I was blown away by their acting because people that aren't actors tend to think of drama as being the impressive acting space, that's the hard thing. What they did on Cheers, what he and Shelley and all of them did on Cheers is like ice skating. It's so delicate. And so I think and Cheers got me through when I was going through a divorce, and every night I would watch TV at 10 o'clock. I would watch that, and never knowing, it's okay, you're going to sleep with that guy before too long.
Thank you.
Well, they say it's a place where everyone knows your name. I mean,
I think a follow-up question would be in order.
I think I've said enough.
Okay. Borrowing a phrase from another must-see TV show, yada, 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 here you are. And it's your first interview for this show together, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's what you mentioned during the break.
Speaking yada, yada, yada,
Yes,
the
sir.
only person who ruins more takes than Mary is Larry David.
Okay.
He is the worst. Surely.
He is. He's terrible.
Well, this is awesome because our radio audience is literally about to return, and it's a perfect segue. Would you repeat for our radio audience what you just said about who blows the most takes in your history?
Yes, we talked earlier about Mary, barely getting through a scene on, Step Brothers without ruining it by laughing. The only other person I've ever met who is worse than Mary is Larry David on Curb. Ruined take after take by laughing.
Over and over again, huh?
Sometimes at himself.
Okay.
Yeah. That I understand.
Well, I guess that's my last true or false for celebrity true or false for both of you. True or false, some of your friends actually thought you split up after your fictional versions divorced on Curb. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, we said, somebody said, say it isn't true.
Somebody we'd seen like 2 months before.
Yeah, I mean,
for dinner,
someone that should know better. And I said, yes, it's true. And we decided a good, graceful way to introduce that to everyone is to do it on Curb. What do you think?
Right.
It was like...
But that is true, huh?
That's how powerful I think television is.
But I have to say, even as the actors, I was miffed. I was kind of upset. that he did that. You
to
know,
put
it's
you in
like-
that position as
Yeah.
characters on the show.
which I think tickled him even
Well, maybe
more.
you should. Maybe Ted, you should have given him the sandwich. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If
That's
you
it.
only
He holds a grudge.
swapped sandwiches
The
with
guy
him when he
holds a
asked,
grudge.
I can't get enough of it. I miss that show.
Yeah.
I absolutely miss that show. What is your favorite, both of you, if you wish, favorite scenes, favorite episodes of Curb
Wow.
that you did with him?
Isn't there one where he goes to the ballpark with his,
a hooker, right.
his
Yeah.
father and a hooker?
Well, he picks up the hooker so he could use the HOV lane to get there.
That's right.
Let's not forget the reason why he did that.
Yeah, I just
I
love
mean,
that.
if you've ever been in trying to get to Dodger Stadium,
It's tough.
I just
to
love
get in
that.
that diamond lane is very important.
Yeah.
And we, God, Barney's isn't even there anymore. But we did one of the first ones I did was at Barney's,
That was
where
the first year. Yeah.
yeah, where he said to Cheryl, you know, should we hang out with those guys? And then he said, you know, I can take or leave Ted, but I'd like to hang out with Mary, but would you be jealous? And she's like, I don't care. And so then he keeps popping up when I'm shopping and things like that.
Which one of you met Larry in real life first?
I think we both did
Same
actually.
time.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
had friends.
At the
and,
same time?
Yeah.
My story about that was
Please.
he invited us all, this group of about 6 or 7 friends, and we'd known him from the summer before. And he said, come, I just shot the pilot for something, Curb, and he took us up into the attic because the reception in this little summer house was the only place there. It was hot, I'll give you that, but half of the group fell asleep. And I sat there, I won't throw you under the bus, but I thought we both went, oh boy, oof. Don't know about this show, but let's be sweet and supportive. So we said, if you ever need us to play ourselves, be our pleasure, but only out of trying to be sweet. Truthfully, I will say in my case, changed my career, being on Curb.
You think so?
Yeah, because it rejuvenated my, I kind of felt like I'd stayed at the half-hour comedy party too long by then. And you just show up and you would giggle and it was effortless and it just made me happy to be around comedy again.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Certainly, since it is a show that really taps into what's right and what's wrong in the world and who's the arbiter of it than Larry David, which is, awesome and problematic at the same
Yes.
time.
You don't want to go out to dinner with him in real life.
Oh my God. We
No.
went out to dinner with him, Martha's Vineyard. None of us had been to this restaurant, and it's one of the few really stuffy restaurants there, sort of took itself seriously. And we're sitting where we're facing everybody, and he's got his back to everybody. And he comes in late and he sits down, and then he just starts telling these stories
In a booming
voice. Like, and you're just watching behind him, everyone, and you're watching. A couple of people are laughing. Some people were very offended by that last story, and the language and all this. One person is like paying it, getting up, leaving, and then he finally realizes maybe he's offended some people, and he goes, "This is a terrible restaurant for Jews." And I'm like, what are you even talking about? We're probably the only 2 people in here aren't Jewish. I mean, he's nuts. He'll
He
say and do
delights.
anything.
And that incident will be in next week's episode.
Yeah.
Oh, if only. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, everybody enjoy A Man on the Inside Season
you.
2 with Ted Danson, Mary Steenburgen, Max Greenfield, Gary Cole was also terrific. Check it out amongst many on Netflix Season 2.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.